Nobody.
Oh, by the way, this person,
Person. What'd you say?
right there, sent us
What is it?
weather, then sent a link there.
No, sir. Don't know them. Stay away from it before they hack your stuff.
Oh no, I know who that is.
Mm-hmm.
That's that any person that's on the channel now.
Could be, could not be. I wouldn't take chances.
Somebody texted that one day.
Hmm?
Somebody texted that one day.
For what?
Because I got that text right there while I was at work. And then he told me to respond with this. The blue one's mine.
What did they say?
About definitely. Bean skeletons.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, go ahead.
I just let you know about that.
Well, sometimes you just have to be careful,
Yeah.
you know. You know, these down here that have your little chat thing, then your little $ things, and then your plus sign that says engage with your audience, whatever. I wonder what that is.
Hey.
Hey, Kathy. How you doing, love?
I don't know nothing about that stuff.
The one that's on, even in the back, hit that like button. She says, hey, Christina. Oh, hanging in there. Just hanging in there. Um, Somebody jumped off last night. Did you notice that?
I didn't notice that because remember I was asleep.
What was 2,630 now?
I wasn't in here when you were
Oh, yeah.
alive. I was
Well, it was up
asleep.
to 630 and then it went down to 629. Somebody jumped off. Apparently they didn't like what I had to say. Yeah, that's what I heard. the mom confessed. See, what all do we get from him? Start these cards from backwards. Hit me, miss. He's not. And mom in the house. Mom's happy. Health. Abused and bound. Got ADHD. Yes. Joshua and grandma. Yeah. That's the way it's getting to be. People need to keep their dadgum legs closed so they don't want no children. It's about ignorant.
On the second day of May, 2 children were reported missing from a rural property in Nova Scotia. The report came just before noon. The mother's voice was calm, too calm. She told dispatchers they'd been playing in the yard, and then they were gone. No sound, no struggle, no sign they'd ever left the property. Within hours, police arrived. By nightfall, the forest behind the house was lined with volunteers, search dogs, drones, and heat sensors. A full-scale search. Nothing was found. For 3 days, authorities moved inch by inch through 4 square kilometers of brush and swamp. For 3 weeks, interviews were conducted, phones examined, social media scrubbed. Every version of events was rechecked again and again. The timeline was too clean, too narrow. Something didn't add up. And then, quiet. The case stalled. Press conferences ended. The mother stopped answering questions. Her boyfriend vanished from public view. People moved on. Until this morning, 8:37 a.m., when a man walked into an RCMP detachment and asked to speak to someone in homicide. He didn't ask for a lawyer. He didn't want protection. He just sat down, trembling, and said, "I can't carry it anymore." And just like that, the story broke open. Not in the forest, but in the silence between 2 people who had spent 3 months pretending nothing was wrong. Before the headlines, before the searches, before the silence, there was just a house, modest, worn, tucked deep into the brush off Gyerlock Road in Lansdowne Station, Nova Scotia. The kind of place you drive past and forget a second later. Weather-beaten siding, one swing in the yard, toys scattered like breadcrumbs toward the tree line. Inside lived Malaya Sullivan, 32 years old, mother of 2, quiet, kept to herself. She worked part-time at a local veterinary clinic until she didn't. No official reason was given for her departure.
Now, see, now, that kind of bites me in the butt because now look here, if she was working, well, I got a niece that's working at the vet.
Oh no.
And I know sometimes she works the front, but she also helps with animals from time to time. So they, when you say nurse,
Uh-oh.
you yeah, you think hospital.
That is true.
Well, so I can't get on too bad for this for saying before a nurse, and then now saying working at the vet. So I
I mean, they do kind of have the same uniform.
yeah, I
If you
mean,
think about it.
some people at the vet is the registered animal nurse. Uh, so I can't kick heels about that one, but anything else is not looking good. Hey, Alice, how you doing now?
Coworkers said she just stopped showing up. Lily, 6 years old, was the bright one, always talking, drawings taped to the fridge, unicorns, houses, the sun with eyelashes. Jack, 4, barely spoke to anyone outside the family. He clung to his sister like a shadow. They weren't invisible, but they weren't known either. Neighbors remembered seeing the kids at the edge of the yard, never far from the trees, always called inside before dusk. No one saw them walking to school. No one saw them at the grocery store. Malaya was private, always had been, but something shifted in the final months. A man named Logan began staying at the house, not formally introduced, not acknowledged by family, just there. First, fixing the shed, then parking in the driveway for days at a time. He was older than Malaya, not by much.
Where's my paperwork?
Bed, door,
Huh?
on. Right? Yeah.
Tree line. Inside lived Malaya Sullivan, 32 years old, mother of 2, quiet, kept to herself. She worked part time at a local veterinary clinic until she didn't. No official reason was given for her departure. Coworkers said she just stopped showing up. Lily, 6 years old, was the bright one, always talking, drawings taped to the fridge, unicorns, houses, the sun with eyelashes. Jack, 4, barely spoke to anyone outside the family. He clung to his sister like a shadow. They weren't invisible, but they weren't known either. Neighbors remembered seeing the kids at the edge of the yard, never far from the trees, always called inside before dusk. No one saw them walking to school. No one saw them at the grocery store. Malaya was private, always had been, but something shifted in the final months. A man named Logan began staying at the house, not formally introduced, not acknowledged by family, just there. For first, fixing the shed, then parking in the
Grandma and then party did it in the shed with a truck. Mom, it was cold. Mom didn't want to see us again. Bed each other. Guess they got their wish. We're not here anymore. Did it in the shed. Mean as him, both were. I have been Jack, Lansdowne Station. There's like a lake. Uh, it was a bad home. Yep, Cody. Uh, someone said, I don't remember if it was one of the kids or one of the lovers said, don't die, don't, and then died at home. Yeah, him and mom. Yeah, mean. Once touched me with his fingers. Um, he's wanted grandma. Did it in the shed with a truck. It was cold. Something about Jack's teeth. Um, Jack, grandma. Um, they knew Jack was wet. Yep. Broken. Fell in, can't swim. In bed and each other. Yep. I guess they got their wish. Don't run on. I bet they panicked. Black vehicle took us both. From Jack needs help. That's why. Evil. My hands in bathroom, broke neck. Help me. And then talks about her pink coat and then wet pants. Jack, grandma, and then Durwood mentioned twice. Then when somebody said Daniel took him to the bathroom, that's when Summers stepped up and said, no, she did. And then cousin with pillow. Probably going to find us buried naked. It's cold. They nearly found us. Really needs Jack. I can't believe he did this. I do know there is no idea. Yes, I wanted my mom, but mom didn't want neither of us. Yeah, my road. Before they realized what happened. Yeah. Inside of, and then pillow again. Mom, me, yep, her friend. That's him. That's right. Did, yeah. Killed them. I did. Pillow.
Was given for her departure. Coworkers said she just stopped showing up. Lily, 6 years old, was the bright one. Again and again. The timeline was too clean, too narrow. Something didn't add up. And then, quiet. The case stalled. Press conferences ended. The mother stopped answering questions. Her boyfriend vanished from public view. People moved on. Until this morning, 8:37 a.m., when a man walked into an RCMP detachment and asked to speak to someone in homicide. He didn't ask for a lawyer. He didn't want protection. He just sat down, trembling, and said, "I can't carry it anymore." And just like that, the story broke open. Not in the
from Lily. Yep. Inside of, yeah, pillow, mom, me. Yeah. Yep. Her friend, that's him. That's right. They did it. Both did it. Daniel is a maniac. Mom was always angry. I can't believe he did this to me. Mom was always angry. He did. He killed, yep, and mom. Home. Some other dad in your room was bad to Jack. They both did it. Backyard, pillow. He's down a little. She's down a little from Jack. Was in the yard. Lily at Deep Point, hurt because angry, beat to death. They will both have felonies for both 1 to 2 feet in. Mom hated Jack. She's high. And Daniel. My pink coat was planted. Yep. Him and Grandma faked. Burnt just a little. Me did I could. Jack, yep, Durwood. Yep, Durwood. Pink coat, sheet, naked, dirty, need something up. Driveway did bury. What else? Beat together. Put outside, pink. And then truck, they did use a flashlight. Sawed foot. It hurts, yeah. Mom's evil. Yeah. Knew it was me. Got hit by mom. Yeah. A lot of blood. Cut off. Lily, yep. Gave us cereal in the dark. In basement. Got whipped and choked. Didn't deserve this.
forest, but in the silence between two people who had spent 3 months pretending nothing was wrong. Before the headlines, before the searches, before the silence, there was just a house, modest, worn, tucked deep into the brush off Geierloch Road in Lansdowne Station, Nova Scotia. The kind of place you drive past and forget a second later. Weather-beaten siding, one swing in the yard, toys scattered like breadcrumbs toward the tree line. Inside lived Malaya Sullivan, 32 years old, mother of 2, quiet, kept to herself. She worked part-time at a local veterinary clinic until she didn't. No official reason was given for her departure. Coworkers said she just stopped showing up. Lily, 6 years old, was the bright one, always talking, drawings taped to the fridge, unicorns, houses, the sun with eyelashes. Jack, 4, barely spoke to anyone outside the family. He clung to his sister like a shadow. They weren't invisible, but they weren't known either. Neighbors remembered seeing the kids at the edge of the yard, never far from the trees, always called inside before dusk. No one saw them walking to school. No one saw them at the grocery store. Malaya was private, always had been, but something shifted in the final months. A man named Logan began staying at the house.
Where's them names that I wrote down? They cannot talk that morning. Durwood, then choked them and bruises. Yeah, would slap, hit them, seen that, used his hand. Yeah, it's a crying shame. I have got one of these papers that's got that name on it. Earl. Sarah, Rita. Rosita, Rasita, Rosita. Cody. Hey, Mom, happy. Yeah. He was in a lot of pain. Oh, that's the one where talking about fish bait. I dropped them under there. I'll have to get them later. I've got one somewhere that's got that name Logan on it. A lot of people don't. That's daggum YouTube for you. But yeah, I've got that name written down. Dadgummit.
Not formally introduced, not acknowledged by family, just there. First, fixing the shed, then parking in the driveway for days at a time. He was older than Malaya, not by much, but enough that people noticed. Locals whispered. They'd seen him before, years back, working odd jobs, moving firewood, fixing fences, crashing on couches. He was known, but not trusted, and now he was a fixture in the Sullivan home. The change was subtle at first. Malaya stopped coming to church. Jack missed a doctor's appointment. Lily's school attendance became erratic. A neighbor later recalled seeing Malaya staring out the window late at night, unmoving, like she was waiting for something or watching for something she couldn't name. By early April, Malaya's
Who was there to tell that she was standing there looking out the window? See, they tell these kind of things, but they don't have nothing to back it up. They've never worked a day in their life. I don't doubt it. Well, who's going to be there? The one's going to be saying that she was up, looking out the window, pacing back and forth, like she was waiting on somebody. I mean, who would have been there to say that? See, that they don't know a bit more than nothing what went on in that house. The only ones that tell the truth about this whole thing is them babies.
online presence vanished. No posts, no photos. Her last upload was an image of Lily and Jack in Easter pajamas, sitting by the fireplace. The caption read,
Yeah, and Cody was allowed to be there that day. And he hit on them as well. Yes, rest in peace, Jaden Spicer. That was terrible.
"Our quiet little world." A week later, she deleted the post. Something was happening inside that house. Not loud, not visible, just shifting. The kind of change that doesn't make noise, the kind that closes doors. To the outside world, the Sullivan family appeared intact. Fragile, maybe, but intact. No one thought to look closer. Not yet. May 2nd, 2025. It was a Thursday, the kind of spring day where the wind lingers a little too long in the trees and the ground is still soft from thaw. At 11:42 a.m., a call came into Nova Scotia's emergency dispatch. It was Malaya Sullivan. Calm, quiet, no panic in her voice. She told them she had stepped inside to grab something, said the kids were in the yard near the tree line, said she was gone for 5 minutes, maybe less. When she came back out, Lily and Jack were gone. Police arrived within the hour. What they found was a set of faint impressions in the soft earth. Investigators couldn't even agree if they were human. Too quiet, some said. She wasn't crying.
Well, once they said aliens come down, and beamed them up.
She wasn't searching. She wasn't angry. She was present, but absent. In interviews, her sentences were clipped. Her eyes never quite fixed on the camera. In one news clip, she thanks the volunteers, but mispronounces her own son's middle name. people noticed. A cousin of Malaya's came forward later, said she'd reached out the night of the disappearance, texted once, they're gone, no context, no follow-up, no call, nothing since. Then came Logan. For the first 4 days, Logan had been seen helping search crews quietly off to the side. He handed out water, walked tree lines, didn't speak to reporters. But after May 6th, no one saw him again. Neighbors said his truck was gone. Police said he was not a suspect. But behind the scenes, the tone had shifted. On May 10th, the RCMP's digital forensics team entered the case. Their request for device access had been delayed. Paperwork, jurisdiction, caution. When they finally reviewed the phones, something stood out immediately. Both devices, Malaya's and Logan's, had been wiped, not reset, scrubbed. Search histories deleted, messages purged, even cloud backups disabled.
So now we know who Numbnuts was talking to and didn't realize that the phone was tapped.
Forensics recovered only fragments, screenshots of children's clothing, a map marked with a pin labeled quiet spot, and a half-written note in Logan's phone that read, "She said they'd be better off." It ended there. What raised the most concern, however, wasn't what was missing, it was what didn't fit. Surveillance footage from a neighbor's property, a small camera pointed toward the main road, captured a clear, uninterrupted view of the Sullivan driveway between 10:30 and 12 on May 2nd, the time frame in which Malaya said she stepped inside and the children disappeared. No one entered, no one exited. Not on foot, not in a car. The only movement seen in that window was the wind tugging at a laundry line. Then, an anonymous tip came in. A voice.
Nothing but the wind blowing the clothesline. See what I'm talking about? They say some of the stupidest stuff. Were they there? Did they have a chair set out in front yard watching the rope swing back and forth with clothespins on it? You know, this kind of stuff like this right here is what gets me. You don't daggum exaggerate junk. Just tell it like it is. That's what's getting people not to want to hear or believe anything from anybody. Alien doing that crap, you know. So I don't know about this.
Voicemail. Shaky. Untraceable. "I live up the hill," the voice said. "I heard the night before. A child. Just once. Then nothing." Police returned to the Sullivan home with renewed interest. This time, they didn't ask. They executed a quiet search. Inside, they found freshly laundered bed sheets, the dryer still warm, no children's shoes by the door, and in the basement, a single sock, size toddler, torn at the heel, stuffed behind a furnace. No blood, no bodies.
That's a bunch of bull right there. I can call them out on their lies. Because if you don't do this kind of stuff, it can just keep going, you know? I'm burnt just a little. Me did I could. Jack, yep. Durwood, yeah, Durwood. And then she says something about uh, pink coat and a sheet, naked, dirty, uh, driveway, uh, bury, and I can show you. You just have to look over my sloppy handwriting. But right there, I'm burnt just a little. Tell me we don't get information from children. People can kiss my ass. There's a lot more went on with these children than what people's gonna imagine, even beyond your imagination.
Nothing conclusive, but the atmosphere had changed. Investigators weren't searching anymore, they were waiting for someone to break. 97 days after Lillian.
Told you. And my grandmother used to say that all the time. I told you so. Thank goodness. Yeah, that's YouTube thing, thank goodness. Oh, yeah, they thought about it. They sat down and figured out what to do. Yeah.
Jack vanished. The investigation had gone quiet. Public interest had waned. Reporters moved on. The forest had been picked clean. Families returned to their routines. The search had ended, but the story hadn't. August 7th, 2025, RCMP Detachment New Glasgow. It was a humid Thursday morning, uneventful until 8:37 a.m., when a man walked through the glass entryway wearing the same jeans he'd last been seen in 3 months ago, Logan Miller. He looked smaller somehow, not thinner, emptier. His shirt was wrinkled, his hands were shaking. No one recognized him at first, not until he stepped to the front desk and said, "I need to talk to someone about the Sullivan kids." They led him into interview room B. He didn't ask for a lawyer, didn't request a break. He sat down, head in hands, and muttered, "I can't hold it anymore." For the next 2 hours, Logan told a version of events the RCMP hadn't heard before. And it wasn't an accident. It wasn't an abduction. It wasn't a stranger. It started, he said, the night of May 1st. There had been an argument. He wouldn't say what started it, only that the tension had been building for days.
And this Logan Miller. See, we've heard about a friend, or what they call a friend. And, there wasn't nothing else, said really about Earl or Justin, but mainly, the grandmother, the friend, their nuts, and uh, Daniel, and Cody, and I'll tell you, somebody else knows everything that happened too, and that's his daddy. Daniel's daddy. He knows everything. These children, I believe, now that I've thought about it, and usually when I do that is either while I'm laying down or when my mind just runs off a million miles away, Um, But I'm gonna go ahead and say what one of their loved ones has said, and I can't help it. Who likes it, who don't like it. Quite frankly, I don't give a damn. I, I was shown that they were putting something in the children's drinks. And when they, over time, as they got more sickly and more sickly, the beatings still were being done, choking was being done, something about the hallway in the bathroom. And what is wrong with Malaya? Her to be, I can't say insane because she knows exactly what she's done. A person has to be really proven that their mind just is not there. And she's just as well as any of us sitting here. Okay. Uh, so they can't use that excuse. Now I don't know what it is that they were putting in their drinks, but it was something that they would only let them drink and then giving dry cereal. Wasn't giving them no milk, just dry cereal. I guess just to take the taste away a little bit, I guess. And I guess after the beatings and everything, and that was from Daniel, that was from Malaya, and that was from Jack's mama, did the most as far as bruising up the children. And when she thought that they were suffering, I don't know why in the world she'd think they wouldn't be. There's a portion in that note that says they were both in the bed together. And the way they showed it was that Daniel was on one side, Malaya was on the other side. Some guy was standing in the doorway, and uh, Dumb Nuts was sitting at the kitchen table. And they both used pillows to finish it off. Hey, Annie. So, that's what was showed to me. And again, I don't know what they were putting in their drinks. But like I said, no milk in the cereal. Because milk will coat your stomach for a while. So apparently they thought that between giving them that stuff, between using the pillows, it would be, that'd be it. Well, what they didn't expect is these kids were a little tougher than they thought they were, in many ways. And when they started freaking out and crying and carrying on, that's when people heard them up in the morning. crying and carrying on. And it got to where she couldn't stand to hear it. That's why she wanted out the vehicle. Now, the kids didn't let me see this for for just no reason. Yeah.
That Jack had been crying, that Malaya had been off, that she hadn't slept in 3 nights, that she said something strange. Sometimes I think they're better off without me. He said Lily had gone to her room early, headphones on, that Jack had followed Malaya into the basement, that she wasn't gone long, but when she came back up, she was alone. She said Jack had fallen.
There's lie number 2050. I got on paper right here that I could point off to you again. When Jack would get in trouble for wetting his bridges or whatever, they'd make him stand outside or whatnot, or either take his pants off and whip him. And he told us spanked and choked. And I asked Lily, do they do the same punishment to you? And she said, yeah. And then she said that they did something to Jack first, but I couldn't make out what she was saying that they did to him. So let's hear that little B part right there again.
They led him into interview room B. He didn't ask for a lawyer, didn't request a break. He sat down, head in hands, and muttered, "I can't hold it anymore." For the next 2 hours, Logan told a version of events the RCMP hadn't heard before. And it wasn't an accident. It wasn't an abduction. It wasn't a stranger. It started, he said, the night of May 1st. There had been an argument. He wouldn't say what started it, only that the tension had been building for days. That Jack had been crying, that Malaya had been off, that she hadn't slept in 3 nights, that she said something strange. Sometimes I think they're better off without me. He said Lily had gone to her room early, headphones on, that Jack had followed Malaya into the basement, that
Where's the basement in that single wide trailer? Where was the basement in that trailer? They were none. Both, Annie. Oh, both. Well, I can tell you one of them was a friend of Malaya's that had a basement, and that's who she left with to go do go to the beach and all this crap. Yeah, in some of them cabins, but I don't know if they had basements or not. I mean, I have no idea. But they could, they could have. Uh, but just had an old mattress down there, and being in the dark. And that's when she come back and she said, I didn't know that this had already happened. Yeah, about 100 of them, they said. So yeah, I mean, so that's lie number one. Well, 2050 right there. Pamela says, "Hey, Christina."
Yes.
Hey, Pamela says, "Hey, how you feeling, love? Any better?" Mm-hmm. I mean, it could have been cabin basement. I don't know. Um, all I do know is just what the children has told me, and that adds up finally with them admitting this stuff. And when all, like I said, when all this comes out to wash, you're gonna find out that these children told their own story, and probably then people will stop turning a deaf ear toward a deceased child or teen or an adult. When they want to speak, let them have room to do so. They will tell you everything you need to know if you just listen.
She wasn't gone long, but when she came back up, she was alone. She said Jack had fallen, said he wasn't breathing, said they couldn't call anyone. He said he went downstairs.
He couldn't breathe because you smothered him with a pillow. Guys, come on. You know, game over. Okay. Game over. You know, yeah. We I would give anything under the sun if we had millions of subscribers to just watch a case like this right here and let them see and to be proven to them just how quick you can learn from the deceased, how quick you can realize how intelligent the deceased is, and that they tell their own story. You can't go in there and tell them what to say. You have to be the one to sit back and close your mouth and open your ears. I have to. Everybody has to. You know. So it's I would that would that would be amazing to get that many people to sit and watch this unfold. You know, Lily was quite smarter than they give credit for. Trust me, and they were tougher than they give credit for too. Uh, and then she wanted to act like when she come back from the beach that everything still should have been fine. But no, between trying to smother and get put stuff in their drink, And probably in along with a cereal. I don't know. While they was in the dark, I have no idea. There's no telling.
Saw Jack lying on a blanket, still, pale. There were no visible injuries, just silence. He said she was calm, too calm, that she asked him to help move the body, that she promised no one would understand.
Did you just hear that? Did you hear that, babe? Hey, take your butt out of your brain for just a second. I want you to hear something. Listen to this right here.
Hold it anymore. For the next 2 hours, Logan told a version of events the RCMP hadn't heard before. And it wasn't an accident. It wasn't an abduction. It wasn't a stranger. It started, he said, the night of May 1st. There had been an argument. He wouldn't say what started it, only that the tension had been building for days. That Jack had been crying, that Malaya had been off, that she hadn't slept in 3 nights, that she said something strange. Sometimes I think they're better off without me. He said Lily had gone to her room early, headphones on, that Jack had followed Malaya into the basement, that she wasn't gone long, but when she came back up, she was alone. She said Jack had fallen, said he wasn't breathing, said they couldn't call anyone. He said he went.
What the crap?
What did I tell you?
That don't sound right.
What did I tell you? They would use what they claimed, like Summer did, claimed that she fell down the stairs and stuff. That's what broke her neck. And I told everybody, and you can go back and watch it. I told everybody they're gonna play this out just like what they did with Summer. That she fell down, got hurt, whatnot, and just anything to take it off of you, or off of them, the pressure off them. Well, let me tell you something. Most of the time, your children are more coordinated than you are. They're like monkeys, okay? That was her dead giveaway right there. Yeah. Could have, but then again, now, like I said, all I can do is go by what the children tell me or show me. And was getting, like I said, that stuff put in their drink. They could have put it in their cereal, just whatever. When they got weak enough, they tried with pillows and they thought that worked. But now, during this time, it plainly says broken neck. And I can show you about 5 times on that paperwork where it plainly says it about Jack. Broke neck. No, there's no basement in that trailer. It was either, like they say, one of them cabins or at one of her friends' house. And that's it. Now, I'm telling you right now, that right there, they can't nobody on the face of this earth tell me that this got reported to the police and that she is not in custody. Even if they think that's an offset, it would be that would go against the Constitution. They would have to manually physically go get her and bring her to the jailhouse and start interrogation. They can't hear that and go a day or two without arresting her. That won't work. So where were they all these last 12, 13 days. Where have they been? Because they ain't been out in public. They just said a minute ago that Daniel's not been seen out in public. Their nuts ain't been seen out in public. Malaya's not been seen out in public. Her mama, his mama, not been out seen in public nowhere. Where are they all at? I give you one guess. And look here, people come on here and try to down me. All they got to do, like I said, I've said this 100,050,000 times over the years. People, just take a minute. Just take a minute. Think outside the box. Close your mouth. Open your ears. Don't listen to what's said. Listen to how it's said. Now, they can't tell me that they ain't got none of these people in holding, because they have to. If that was told to the police, by the time that fella decided to walk out of there, if they let him walk out, they already had a warrant for her and Daniel. And it's going to follow. It's going to be like a puzzle. Daniel or Malaya, Daniel, Grandma, Cody, Justin, the friend or boyfriend, whatever he was, to her, and so it, now when they see, even now, don't get me wrong. I hate to even have to say this, but the law will do it. The law will do this, what I'm fixing to tell you. They know already when they get in there, they're going to be scared. Malaya, if they can even get to her without her committing suicide, but if they get her in an interrogation room and they tell her that she's getting life without, but if she would tell the truth of what happened and who all was involved, they would cut it down to a lesser sentence and say let her out in 30 years or 20 years, whatever might sound good from coming from the police. And that she would still at some time be able to be back in Meadows' life. Now they will use excuses like this to get it out there, to get it, info. So yeah, people try to come over here, and y'all see now why. Because we was hitting the nail on the head. It's jealousy. They can't do the things that I can do. And when they start hearing the voices of these children, if you took a child's life by accident, picture this, guys. Picture this. What I'm fixing to say. Picture this while I'm saying it. Say you was headed to the store or wherever, and a child runs out in front of you and you bump it. You think, well, maybe it'll be okay. I just bumped it. But at the end of the day, the child dies. How are you going to feel knowing that you just took a child's life, and even if it was an accident? how are you going to feel? I can tell you how you're going to feel. If you got a heart in your chest, you're going to feel lower than dirt. Take someone like me to come and sit with you for a little while, and you hear from that child telling you that they forgive you, that, they know that you didn't mean to, or whatnot, however the situation was. It'll break your heart. It will break you like breaking a wild Mustang. You would never, ever be right again in your head. Never. And that's how they feel. When they listen here and they hear these children's voices, no wonder they have to jump off and jump back on it, because it makes them feel so sickening. But we all know pretty much that they're going to try to use a summer route to do this, saying that the kids failed or was playing too rough, or, well, they already tried to play that one off, that they played too rough, that Daniel did. But now Jack followed her down the steps and got to the bottom and wasn't breathing. She can take that and shove it up her ass, because that's a daggum lie. Okay? Anybody want to believe that story? You need to go watch all these hundreds of thousands of teens and children that's been missing, and they've all fell down the stairs and just ain't breathing. They didn't know what to do. They freaked out, so they went and buried them. This ain't nothing new to us, or to me for sure. Good night, Cassie. So, no, that falling down the stair business, no. Now, yeah, she probably could have kicked him or pushed him down the stairs while she was headed down there. Yeah, but it does matter, but it don't matter. The final act is what matters the most. And when they showed me that he was on one side and she was on the other, they were both in the same bed, and used pillows. And that's why we got so many things about the pillows here.
He went downstairs, saw Jack lying on a blanket, still, pale. There were no visible injuries, just silence. He said she was calm, too calm, that she asked him to help move the body.
Not yet. We've been looking. We've been waiting for them. Apparently they'll come tomorrow. You go look. Yeah, we've been waiting. So soon as we get it, like I said, we'll try it right here on the show. There you go. Now you got me wanting candy. Y'all heard that last little statement right there, right? This.
He had gone to her room early, headphones on, that Jack had followed Malaya into the basement, that she wasn't gone long, but when she came back up, she was alone. She said Jack had fallen, said he wasn't breathing, said they couldn't call anyone. He said he
couldn't call anyone. Okay, there's one step that screwed all the F up. Can't call no one. What'd you do? Forget how to punch in 911? What people think this is around here? Let me tell you why they won't call. the daggum police. The same reason they wouldn't call the police for summer. They are lower than scum. They to me, they need to make friends with ever under the ground varmint they are, because they need a permanent address under dirt. Now that gummit, Saturday. Okay. Well, we've been checking every day, but I'll check again tomorrow. Mail usually runs around here about 1 o'clock, between 1:30. Uh, but see, now what are they going to use for the excuse for uh, uh, Lily? That she just got kidnapped, or she was trying to come down the stairs too and fell and broke her neck. What kind of stupidity crap is this? I need a nerve pick. They're pissing me off. Thank you, love. Ooh. You know, summer was just, one child come up missing. Well, the truth been told, she wasn't missing. They know where she's at. This here is a double homicide. And like I say, they can't nobody come over here in this chat. And if they try, I want all you mods to jump on them and banish them from the whole channel. Period. They are nobody that can tell me that once that was told, that she was not brought into custody, or either she's on the run right now, or she's somewhere where she's done slit her own wrist or blowed her brains out. Now, they will have to work easy, like I said with her. Tell her it's just for some question or some crap like that. Get her outside the door so they can handcuff her. But she just plainly altered him. Plainly. Now, this is the second offense. Well, no, this is about the fourth offense. Abuse, physically, mentally, uh, um, um, pretty much starvation of children, whatever that malnourishment, and then abuse of a corpse. So that's five. That's five right there. And now she messed around and got him involved in, and letting him do one, and then her do one to try to finish it off with a pillow. Well, there's no way somebody gonna come in here and tell me that Malaya or Daniel or any of them are not being interrogated or not in jailhouse. We've not seen nothing hiding their hair in 13 to 14 days of these people. And now, even though he's the dude that probably ain't no good, at least he come forward. I mean, they can't get information like that and then let the parents and everybody that's involved run around loose. That can't work. That would go against everything that America stands for. Yeah, I guess. Well, I know when Rose told me, he said these kids look very, very sickly. It was something that just really didn't add up. Because even with beating or whoopings or whatever, dark under their eyes and whatnot, thin and weak, they basically pretty much starved the children to death. And then, like I said, tried to finish it out by smothering them on out. Yes, every time they'd pee or mess up their britches, they'd take their clothes off and put them outside. And that's why Lily, a note right there says when they find us, they'll probably find us naked. She already knew. She already knew. She had it in her heart. She believed it. So now, with that accusation there, and they mentioned to start with, he come in, didn't ask for a lawyer, didn't do nothing. But they would have to hold him in custody because he come in and admitted to what they did. Even if that person didn't do it himself too, do anything to him, they would still have to hold him for evidence to keep talking. And yeah, so they would have to keep him there while they were gathering up Daniel and Malaya and her mama and Daniel and his mama and Cody and Numbnuts and all of them. That they have to. They cannot not do it. That would be unconstitutional. They have to. And then the story's going to go out from there. I mean, you can't make accusations like this going to the police station and think that you're just going to turn around and go home because you're doing a good deed telling on somebody. What they're going to think in their mind is, okay, you knew everything. Why didn't you come ahead and tell us in the beginning after all this that has been going on? Yeah, and that Earl too. Yeah. So they're yeah, they're burnt. They're burnt. I'm telling you right now. So yeah, they in the jailhouse. Either that or on the run. Yeah. Mm.
He went downstairs, saw Jack lying on a blanket, still, pale. There were no visible injuries, just silence. He said she was calm, too calm, that she asked him to help move the body, that she promised no one would understand, that it would ruin everything.
That it would ruin everything. The only reason, and I'm going to be frank with it, I started to say this a while ago, but I got off track. And I'm sorry I do that sometimes, guys. I'm sorry. Because sometimes I forget whereabouts I'm at in my conversation. The only reason that they did not call 911, because she plainly said, we can't call nobody, is because of the dope in the house. They would get charged for that, and they would accuse us for murder because of that and child neglect. So That's why they would not call 911. Now, what brings that up to me? My cousin, one of my cousins, had a heart attack, and she was young. And her family would not, her close knit family, would not call the law because there were drugs in the house. So they waited, and then once they got all the drugs and everything out of the house, they called and reported it. And by the time they got there, they couldn't revive her. So that, like I said, money, drugs, jealousy, uh, let's say money, drugs, money, drugs, and jealousy. That and they're dope, and that's what was the cause of Jack and Lily's death, because they cared more for that stuff than they did their own people. Well, I don't blame the Reds up there for kicking them out, and the mama too. They're not allowed back in there. They are not allowed back in there. And if the main one runs around telling everybody, they may not be allowed to get in any one of them. Oh, honey, this is cake compared to what went on with Summer. Every time they got mad, and they plainly said, Mom's always mad, and he's a maniac. But then they say, that friend. Now I believe I know why they put that new tarp over that shed. And how come her to be bleeding like she was.
He told investigators they wrapped Jack in a sleeping bag and waited until 3 a.m. to carry him into the woods behind the house. He led them to the tree line, past the ravine, past the old hunting shack. He pointed to a spot near a cluster of moss-covered stones and said, "We left him there." When they returned, he said Lily had woken up, had come looking for them, had asked where her brother was. He said Malaya looked her daughter in the eyes and said, "He ran away." And that was the last thing she said to her. When investigators asked what happened next, Logan didn't answer for a long time. He just stared at the wall. Then he whispered, "I don't know where she took her." Logan's confession didn't bring closure. It brought something else, a map of deception, a trail of complicity, and a second child unaccounted for. Malaya hadn't just lost her children, she had erased them. When Logan's confession finally came to an end, the investigators didn't speak. They didn't press him further. They simply asked him one thing: "Can you take us there?" He nodded quietly and then led them to the edge of the woods. The location was 4.2 kilometers northeast of the Sullivan property, off the main trail. No signage, no human activity, just a collapsed logging road overgrown with moss and alder branches. There, beneath a cluster of rocks and damp earth, they began to dig. But before that came Malaya's side of the story. She was brought in later that same day, not in handcuffs, not under arrest, yet. She didn't ask why she was there. She didn't deny that Logan had spoken. She just sat down, removed her earrings, and folded her hands in her lap. According to the transcript, she began speaking before questions were asked. It wasn't supposed to happen like that, she said. And then she told them her version. On the evening of May 1st, she had been alone with the children. Logan had gone into town. Jack was upset, crying about something, a toy, a broken promise, the noise from the old furnace that kept him up at night. She said she told him to be quiet, that he didn't, that she raised her voice, that she yelled at him in a way she never had before. And then it happened. She claimed he fell. She said she wasn't sure if he tripped or collapsed, but when she picked him up, he wasn't responding. His lips were cold. She said she froze, couldn't breathe, couldn't think.
How many times has that been now that they mention a furnace? And literally saying that they were burnt some. They're lying straight through their teeth, just like they always have. Yeah. Well, this was 3 days ago. So, yeah, when I said that they were probably locked up, they were locked up. Um, I mean, they just can't let you walk out after admitting something like this, you know. But they want to play it down that it was such an accident. But they keep mentioning the furnace. I mean, I'm listening to everything they're saying, but I'm also listening to how they're saying it. She's trying to downplay it. I'm going to just here directly. We don't like much on this right here, but we need to hear it.
Just sat on the floor, rocking him, waiting for him to blink. She didn't call 911. Instead, she waited until Logan came home. She said she told him what happened, that he panicked, that she panicked, that they both.
I just read you what Lily said. I guess they panicked.
Started talking in circles. She said she told him they'd take both kids away, that no one would believe it was an accident, that she couldn't go back to court again. There had been a custody case, quiet, sealed, never reported, but it had left her on edge, terrified of losing everything. Logan, according to her, said nothing, just stared at Jack's body, and then nodded. What followed, Malaya described as a blur. She said Logan wrapped Jack in a sleeping bag. She gathered the clothes he'd been wearing that day, his favorite red shirt, the one with the dinosaur. She put it in the dryer to erase the scent. Then later, in a fire pit behind the house, she burned it. What?
What did I tell y'all for the last 3 or 4 days? What have I said? They were burning them kids' toys because it would keep everything on fire for hours at a time. To discard everything. Okay. She's still not telling the whole truth here, but she's telling partials. But now them taking their clothes off and washing them and this and that and other, don't know about that because Lily done said when they found us, they'd probably find us naked. And if the hikers didn't find the remains, then when they did bring in the cadaver dogs, they would have picked up them children in the backyard like that. So yes, the hikers did find the remains of Jack and Lily Sullivan. So now, if they were put in a sleeping bag, that's fine too. But just a shallow grave, and any animal would get into it. Any. Well, with numbnuts being there, and now all this going on, he knows that only thing he can do is throw his hands up because he learned. He know too much, and I still say that he's been in jail for the last few days on account of all this. So, yeah, they've been burning them and burning the kids' clothes and stuff. And even Lily said burnt a little bit. They tried everything they could do, just like Summer's case. They tried that too. That didn't work. They mentioned in that furnace too many times.
The fabric curl into ash. She claimed Lily never knew that she was asleep the whole time, that she woke up to an empty bed and an empty morning, and that when she asked about Jack, she told her the same thing she told the police. He wandered off. Investigators pressed her. What about Lily? Why didn't she tell someone? Why disappear completely? Malaya didn't answer. She said only this: I thought I had more time. When asked to draw a map of where Jack was left, her pen hovered over the paper for several seconds, and then she drew a curve, a sharp bend, a tree split in two by lightning.
So therefore, if it was in their own yard, she wouldn't have to draw out a map. Okay.
A rock shaped like a boot. It matched Logan's description exactly. The team moved out that same evening. By midnight, they had begun excavation, soil samples, ground penetrating radar, then a zipper from a child's sleeping bag. There was no ceremony, no discovery shouted to cameras, just silence. A perimeter was drawn, a tarp erected.
This is the part that our CMP was talking about yesterday. They would give us some info, but not all in detail, because they want to hold that for court time. And I understand that. I understand it. So these children got done not only the beating but deceased there, and then with the furnace, and then the remains probably in the sleeping bag. But like I said, up there in Canada, or really anywhere, but they're going to pick up that stench, and that's how they found the remains. And it wasn't a coincidence. I believe that was the work of the good Lord to let somebody find that skull, and then RCMP and everybody kept digging around till they seen the remains of the bodies, and commented that it was indeed Jack and Lily's bodies. So now we know why she said, now I'm free, or we're free now. It sounded so good. Poor little babies.
And the slow, grim process of cataloging what was left. Malaya was taken into custody. Not charged, not yet. But the shift was irreversible because her secret had never been about what happened. It was about what she let happen. Next 48 hours moved with grim efficiency. Forensic teams confirmed the remains, partially decomposed, fragmented by weather and wildlife, were consistent with the estimated age and timeline of Jack Sullivan. Penetrating radar, then a zipper.
I'm fixing to play this again. And I pray that the ones that tried to come over here and say some bull crap that Jack and Lily has not been found, I want you to listen to something. Now I want you to shut your mouth, open your ears. I don't care what platform you're from. If you want the truth behind missing teens and children, you come to JSV. Now I'm going to make you listen to this one more time. Everyone here knows that I would not say something if I was not 110% on it. So for any nut jobs that come over here that try to tell us that they were not found, well, now we get to tell you we told you so. These people that you see here on my chat, they like what I do because I'm honest about it. I don't beat the bushes, and I get information straight from the source. And I'm sorry that y'all may not be able to do that. But one day you might want to hear from one of your loved ones. Something might happen to one of your children. Don't think things like this can't happen to you, because it can. So I'm going to play this little bitty spot back right here. And no, I'm not talking about anybody here. Anybody from any other platform that come here to listen and see what I gather, what I get. And I'm going to say this again. We listen to what they got to say, and then we listen to what the children have to say. And let me tell you something. It's a world of difference, because the children will tell the truth. Hey, Carol.
From a child's sleeping bag. There was no ceremony, no discovery shouted to cameras.
Now listen.
Just silence. A perimeter was drawn, a tarp erected, and the slow, grim process of cataloging what was left. Malaya was taken into custody. Not charged, not yet. But the shift was irreversible, because her secret had never been about what happened. It was about what she let happen. Next 48 hours moved with grim efficiency. Forensic teams confirmed the remains, partially decomposed, fragmented by weather and wildlife, were consistent with the estimated age and timeline of Jack Sullivan. The sleeping bag, the soil composition, even the broken zipper found beneath a layer of pine mulch all pointed to one thing. The child had not wandered off.
Now, I know there's a lot of people that couldn't. My aunt, one of my aunts couldn't. Now, if anybody wants to come over here now and try to say something, you're going to look mighty stupid, because it's wrapping up. As soon as they gather all of them up, that's going to be the end of it. Then we'll have to sit and wait for a court date.
Had been placed there. With Logan's signed statement and Malaya's partial admission, RCMP filed for formal arrest. August 8th, 6:42 a.m. Malaya Sullivan was taken into custody at her home. She was still in pajamas.
No, I could. I got 3 girls. Oh, but I don't know who you was asking that to. Annie said she couldn't have babies. There's a lot of people that they can't have any. I don't know why, but there's just a lot of people fixed to where they can't.
Struggle, no comment. She didn't ask why. She didn't ask what they had found. She simply turned off the stove, handed her neighbor the keys, and walked to the cruiser without shoes. Logan, meanwhile, had already been placed in protective custody. His emotional state described in the initial report as, quote, fragile but coherent, unquote. His status shifted from witness to co-conspirator within hours. Charges were announced by noon: obstruction of justice, interference with human remains, neglect leading to death, manslaughter still under investigation, pending autopsy confirmation. The media frenzy that followed was immediate and ruthless. For days, news choppers circled the forest site. Reporters swarmed the small town of Lansdowne Station, speaking to neighbors, family members, even children from Lily's school. The public demanded answers. How could 2 children go missing from a rural home in daylight without a single neighbor seeing anything? How could the mother appear on national television asking for help, knowing what had already happened? Some saw a woman pushed to the edge, battered by isolation, overwhelmed by custody battles, consumed by fear. Others saw something else: a quiet calculation, a controlled cover up, the kind of silence that takes days to construct. What became increasingly clear was this: Jack's death may have been an accident, but the aftermath wasn't. Investigators recovered burned children's clothing from the fire pit.
It was no accident. If it was an accident, I've seen this 1,000 times. If it would have been an accident, they would have got all the stuff out that they make dope with, spray the house with some blue, and it would kill the odor of meth. Get everything out, clean it up, and say, hey, I need y'all to come over here. My child just fell down the stairs. So we know she's trying to make light of it, but it don't matter. She's automatically going to get the murder charges. No. But falling down the stairs, that didn't happen. That was just her way to play it down. Like they said, they'll be waiting for the coroner. I've told y'all in the last few days or so that I guarantee the coroner is working with them. We asked them, what could you see around us? And Lily said a doctor or something. And uh, something, but anyway, yeah, they were in there doing their autopsy and then all that stuff. People cannot tell me that children won't tell their own story. Now, when this comes back, that'd be, like he just said, fooling around with a corpse, premeditated murder, capital murder times 2, and much more. Yeah, bless you, love. Oh, and did you ask me about that app that I use? It's the Huff app. It's $30, and you can order it. Uh, and you said that sometimes the voices don't sound human. Well, that's the way it is. That's just the way it is because there's no interference. There's no white noise. That way we can get we can tell where around the world they are. Mm.
Partially melted polyester fibers confirmed to match what Jack had worn in earlier photos. Lily's status, however, remained a void. No remains, no sightings, no definitive evidence she was ever taken into the woods with her brother. This uncertainty widened the scope of the case. RCMP began treating it not just as a cover-up, but a potential two-child death investigation. A second site was ordered for search, northwest of the original location, based on inconsistencies in Malaya's testimony. The town, small, cold, inward facing, began to split down the center. Some held candlelight vigils, others blocked off their driveways, refusing reporters. The local church opened its doors for grief counseling. Meanwhile, online forums erupted in theories. Was Logan more involved than he claimed? Had Lily ever been seen after May 1st? Why did Malaya's phone go dark for 3 days after the 911 call? In courtroom sketches, Malaya sat in silence, cheekbones sharp from weight loss, her eyes hollow but dry. Logan, in a separate proceeding, refused to make eye contact with anyone. The prosecution was preparing to file new charges. The defense hadn't spoken publicly, and still, no one could answer the question on every screen, every headline, every whispered conversation at the grocery store. Where was Lily? The silence that once cloaked Lansdowne Station had shattered. Outside the courthouse in Halifax, protesters lined the concrete steps, some holding signs that read, "Monsters hide in plain sight," others pleading, "Malaya deserves help, not hate."
Now remember on this, this was a few days back. Yes, and they did say white coat. Uh, Now this was like 3 or 4 days ago. Okay. Well, what I heard was that the kids of the nest. So therefore, when I asked Lily what punishment she get, does she get the same punishment for wetting or messing up her bridges? That's when she said, yeah, and something about they'd done something to Jack first. And I guarantee you that was it right there. And she took him in the bathroom, and that was that. And they're talking about where's Lily. Well, that may have been so a couple of days ago, but they referenced it as found the children. I don't know if y'all caught that or not, but they said that they did find the remains of Jack and Lily just a second ago. So today, what is today? Today's they what is today? Tuesday.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Tuesday the 12th.
So Sunday. So Sunday they found, yeah. So Sunday they is when they found them. The first one that they got up was Jack, and then like they said, they moved some debris and stuff and seen some of their clothing, and both of them were, it was Jack and Lily. Uh, and you heard, and they didn't want to put it in too graphic content. They said it was, you know, uh, rotten and whatnot like that from the elements, and stuff. But and the decay and stuff like that. But uh, animals is the ones that let people discover where the kids are. So now, well, while she's talking now was before that they found where Lily was at. And with what Lily said, or not Lily, but Rose said Jack was down just a little bit from her. So that's when that's how they found him. Uh, so now, like I said, this was 3 or 4 days ago. It shouldn't be it shouldn't be long. And now, like I said, when this goes out, it's going to go out on live television. Um, we'll have to click if you're using a laptop or TV or whatever, and you're just only on internet. Click over to live TV because that's where it's going to be told. And we need to know the dates. And it's August 13th there. Okay. Uh, need to have some front row seats to watching this, you know, because now not only that the children's murdered, but how and all that stuff's fixing to come up. So see, we still got all that to deal with. Uh, from putting something in their drink, um, to suffocation, malnourishment, um, pretty much getting too weak to do anything. Everything started shutting down, and I guess they thought that a pillow would be the quickest way to do it without making a mess. I hate to say it that way, but that's just a true fact. You put a pillow over a baby's face, even though they're fighting back, there's still no chance. And Daniel and Malaya did this while standing by her friend and their nuts in the kitchen. And her mom, I'm pretty sure she was probably sitting out on the porch. They knowed when, how, and what they did. Every one of them. Even Daniel's dad, they know everything. Cody, he can't play his little, he wasn't there crap because that done been proven that he was. So, yeah, there going to be several people, and you know, like I said, there's going to be some charges put out to some of these other, like the moms and stuff. They're not going to get off either because they knew about it. If you know something about a murder and you don't report it, your butt's grass too. Now you'll get a lesser sentence, but still you'll be going to jail house too. So yeah.
Inside Facebook groups and parenting forums, the public split violently. One side saw a terrified woman, unwell and overwhelmed, caught in the grip of untreated depression. The other saw a manipulator, stone cold, willing to let her own children vanish into the woods to preserve a fragile facade. Malia Sullivan appeared in court for arraignment on August 10th. Her plea? Not guilty to all charges. She wore no makeup.
Who's Raymond? Was that her, the baby's daddy? No, that was Cody. Who's Raymond? Anybody heard that name? Raymond?
Her hands trembled when she adjusted the microphone, but when asked to confirm her identity, her voice was clear, composed. almost too composed. Logan was arraigned the following day in a separate proceeding. He pled guilty to obstruction and interference with human remains, but his lawyer...
Look at her. Yeah. You want to come back to Earth for a minute?
I literally just said yes, babe.
Look. We just heard some of the best but saddest news we could ever hear. Daniel admitted.
He actually admitted to it?
He admitted. Well, they're trying to play it down. Don't let there's my thing. Put that back on my couch. I know this somewhere. But anyway, he admitted that he fooled with the corpse of the kids. So he's charged for that, and he gonna get murder one too.
That's gross.
Yeah. Well, there was something other. When did I say? I said something about scared of needles or something other. When was that? What was that I was talking about? Excuse me. Said something about scared of needles. Remember, come across the spirit box. So somebody was scared of needles. It's on one of them shows. But dadgummit, look, hey, we getting there. So after admitting that, they can't let him leave. Okay. I believe Numbnuts has done. Yeah. I believe Numbnuts, he's already been in there for a while. But now, see, they said that it depends on the autopsies and all that to what more charges may come. Now, asphyxiation, broken neck, they'll look for that stuff. And the reason I think that it might have been the easiest thing for an animal is, and again, this is for educational purposes only. Might want to write that in, Sabrina. The only reason that the skull of Jack Sullivan was more up on the hill for the hikers to find was because the spine, the spine and neck had already been severed. Apparently, that part happened in the bathroom, and they're trying to use it as he fell down the stairs. Well, that is bullcrap, because we plainly heard I was whipped and I was choked, and then somebody started to say, "Well, he did this," or someone said, "No," said she did it, and plainly said in the bathroom. So she choked him and smothered him and probably slammed him down in there up against something other that snapped his neck. And I can read it off to you 1,000 times right here. The death of Jack Sullivan took place in that bathroom. And the children is the ones that said so. Now, when the skull was found, the reason it was so easy, like I say, is because the spine and the head was already just broke. So by the time the smell got out everywhere, the decay started. Well, it probably didn't take but just a couple of jerks from a big old animal, and that was that. But them hikers, hikers, I don't know how many they were, but they they deserve uh, uh, whatever whatever they should get. Because thank God that they did. I hate that they found them in this situation, but at least the children have been found. Um, Now they still may be more on Lily's side to talk about, but it's going to be brought out the same kind of way, except for she was probably bleeding internally. Um, it said that that Jack was down just a little below her, so uh, they found her clothing too. So like I said, this was 3 or 4 days ago. So by now, they done got her. Um, yes, they are free now, and we heard that loud and clear.
Insisted he was coerced, psychologically manipulated by a woman he felt responsible for saving. The prosecution laid out its case with surgical precision. They argued that Malaya was not.
Did you hear where that woman almost supposed to get ready to crack up? I did. I could hear it in her voice.
Overtaken by panic, but guided by self preservation. That after Jack collapsed, likely from blunt force trauma to the abdomen, she had an opportunity.
Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Now he got uh, killed by getting hit a dumb in the stomach. He's claiming. Now I want to show you. Hey, look, can you hand me these papers down here? Let me see if I got it in one of these right here, real quick. Thank you. There's about 3 down there, I think. Thank you.
We couldn't see if there's any more.
That's okay. Yeah. Okay. It says right here. Says, yep, no grandma. He knew Jack was wet. Uh, Broken neck. Fell in. Uh, Placed in bed with each other. And then Lily said, I guess they got their wish. We're not here anymore. So until they figured out what to do, they placed both the children on the bed. But it plainly says right here that broken neck. That's just one time. Dismembered. Yes, and I'm sure most of that was from animals. They were both bad to Jack in the backyard, something other. Done a little bit from Jack. Hated Jack because beaten to death. They'll find both of us felony 1 or 2 feet. Oh, well, let's see. Yep, they lost color, remote area, too much blood, smell. Little boy was funny, very sadly sick. They were in the back, angry, smothered with pillow. Murder, yeah, mom. And yeah, he's a maniac. Yeah, a lot of country, I think. A crime party Thursday, yeah. Get them out. They won't see them anymore. Lily was injured a little, bleeding. Uh, yep, Blake. There was the name Brianna. Nathan. Oh, whoa, here it is. Now, hold on. Now don't laugh at my daggum writing, because my bifocals ain't the best in the world, you know. But anyway, I tried to spell it out the best I could. Hang on. You see where I scratched out? Where I scratched that out and wrote Logan? Give somebody say yeah, or give me a hand, thumb up if you see that, where it says Logan. I told you. I told you. I told you. I told you. Say, I told you I had his name. Okay, so I'm kind of glad that they don't have the death penalty in Canada, because that would be too easy and quick for them. They need to have to live this every day.
Opportunity to call for help. She did not. Instead, they said, she staged a disappearance, fabricated a timeline, deleted data, burned the clothing, sat in front of the cameras and begged for help, knowing full well where Jack's body lay decomposing in the pines. Her defense attorney presented a different picture: a young woman raised in trauma, a history of domestic violence long before Logan, multiple ER visits, symptoms of post-traumatic stress, potential postpartum psychosis, never diagnosed after Lily's birth. They introduced old journal entries recovered from a previous phone backup. In one, dated 6 months before the disappearance, Malaya had written, "Sometimes I think they'd be better off without me. I love them too much to ruin them." The trial became more than a legal proceeding. It became a referendum on motherhood, on mental health, on the silence between red flags and disaster. News anchors debated whether maternal instinct had been over-romanticized, whether society knew how to recognize the face of a mother in crisis when she didn't look like one. Every detail became ammunition in the cultural crossfire. Why did no school report Lily's absence until a week after the 911 call?
I ain't figured that
Why
one out
did
yet.
neighbors ignore the sounds of screaming that night?
Because they took down the cameras. Duh.
Why did Logan stay silent for 96 days? And what about Lily?
Because he had a little bitty fracture of feeling in him. He just couldn't handle it.
With no body recovered, her fate became both mystery and metaphor, an open wound in the trial and in the town. Parents cried outside the courtroom. Mental health activists rallied on courthouse steps. An online fundraiser for legal fees raised nearly $40,000 in 2 days. Another, for Jack and Lily's funeral costs, raised more in hours. A nation watched a mother on trial, but couldn't decide what crime had truly been committed. Neglect? Murder? Or simply the failure of a system that never saw her going undone? 2 children disappeared in broad daylight. A brother and a sister. A 6-year-old with dimples and a stubborn streak. A 4-year-old who loved to hum when he was nervous. And for 97 days, no one knew where to look.
Well, you know, I said this in the beginning. If if she turns on Daniel will turn on her. And that's what happened. And that's why their nuts went so quiet. We got out of low spot. I got in a low spot. Uh, Now that Daniel is in custody and Malaya's in custody, now it'll just be Cody, that Logan feller, uh, Daniel's mom, Malaya's mom, and Cody. Um, they uh, they all fixing to have to go to jailhouse. I know. I just I just could not get these children out of my mind. You know. Um, I just couldn't. I just could not do it. I tried. But I'm going to turn this thing on in a few minutes and I'm going to do like I did the other day. I'm going to give it a little bit before I even ask a question or whatever, see what we hear, who we hear from, and then we'll go into it like that. Huh? What'd you say? Oh. Tomorrow, 45% light rain. Rained here, poured down all day, all daggum day. Oh, let's see. Hello?
You'll get more. You'll get more than.
Noch 5.
Time. From 7.
He'll fight his wife.
Yeah.
Daniel.
You were hinting at. Fans on.
Went to
Morning.
ATM.
Howard or.
Hello.
Each week.
It is here too.
Liam Livingston. Hate.
They were hate.
Cricket. That you've meant.
England.
What? Make them rich.
Jack
Police
and
officer.
police officer. Jack and Lily Sullivan. Jack and Lily Sullivan.
Refused.
You stated the other day
Chester
that.
City.
Yeah.
Police officer.
Wait. You stated the other day that you're free.
So.
How does that feel? I think she's trying to say good. How does it feel to be free? Lily and Jack Sullivan.
The Tesco
Look, I don't.
and were shoplifting.
What I'm talking about? They talking about over in the UK. Somebody got in trouble for shoplifting. Sometimes they just don't pay no daggum attention to what I'm saying. Let me go this route. That's what I think was trying to say, and then some foreigners started yapping. Jack and Lily Sullivan. Hear me. This is JD. Come talk to me. Jack and Lily Sullivan. Do you know that your mom and Daniel wait that your wait, I will turn it off. Jack and Lily Sullivan. Did you know that your mom and Daniel is locked up in the jail? Jack and Lily's the only voice I'm going to try to listen to. Pamela says we love you, Lily and Jack, with hearts. Lily and Jack Sullivan, are you aware that Mom and Daniel are in jail? That they're up at the jailhouse? Let Jack and Lily speak. I heard, well, I definitely wouldn't out in the yard. No, honey, you wouldn't. Y'all just hush and let Jack and Lily speak. Judy says, hello, beautiful spirits. Hey, love. Jack and Lily Sullivan. Hear me. Don't try to block any one of them. Let them speak. Hey, was that Jack? Jack Sullivan, was that you? Did you say good? They were mean to you, huh? Yeah, to you. Well, You don't have to worry with that no more. And I liked that the other day when you said we're free. You don't have to worry with nobody or anything ever again. Uh, Annie says you have a sweet voice, Lily and Jack. Yeah, the Rose, the skin color does that because of the decay. But when you first started this with us, talking about they're looking pale and turning bluish looking, yeah. Yeah. They are not gonna. Rachel come. Who is Rachel? Hey, babe. They're not really going to give these children the time much to speak about nothing. Everything's going on too fast. Even in death, you know what we do, how we all act, how our energy feels up, down, up, down, up, down. They feel it. They feel it. They can hear every thought you think. Uh, that's one of the best things that uh, a spirit can do, other than play with you like flip a light on or whatnot. If you give them enough energy. Um, but now, at least we know. At least we know in our hearts that now they're 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 safe. Uh, you know, it's bad that they had to find love in death. It really is, but that's the way most cases turn out. And you know, this thing ain't done by far, by far, because I don't think that anybody up there in Canada is going to listen to their sobbing stories. And for the love of God, the people that are from Canada and people from around the world feel for these children. They they need if they can get enough time, since there's not no death toll, every everybody pray that they get, life without the possibility of parole. Yes, and it's emotional. It's touching. It's a sad way to have to be introduced to children, but the ones that, like I said, is in Canada and things like this, Uh, don't let these cases like this go without being unheard. If you have to, you know, protest, protest in front of their place, wherever it may be. All people deserve a voice. And I have proven myself over thousands and thousands of times. And like I said the other day, I don't have to do that anymore. And again, you can tell because they can't nobody come in here and tell us that they're not locked up. They just, like Alice said, they just don't like the truth. That's why they come in and said they're not arrested and they ain't this and they ain't that. Well, yeah, they are. You can't go to go to the jailhouse and being interrogated and then make a statement that he's going to play his down, that he only offered to help dispose of the body, when they now is a good time. Good night, Judy. Thank you for being here, love. People up there in Canada should rally to get the maximum punishment for these children. We don't need Daniel in here, you know, trying to make things less bad on his side. We need to let them all know what they did. They were coherent. They're not insane. They know what they're doing, and they're just doing it because they're corrupt. Dope has messed their brain up. But yes, they know exactly what they have done. You know, if nothing else, make you a little sign and put a staple or two in it. Put it at the end of your driveway. You know, say something like, uh, well, I don't feel for neither one of them nut jobs. Put a sign up that says, you know, give them all maximum uh, uh, charges. You know, um, life without, life without for Daniel, life without for Malaya, his mom, you know, all of them, uh, Logan, Cody, you know, they're all involved in beating and hitting and kicking and carrying on to these children. And they're trying to use the excuse that the children fell down, or that he fell down the stairs. That's a bunch of bullcrap. I've heard that 1,000 times, and it just is not so. Yeah. So if you guys know a bunch of people that's in Canada, ask them to do this while it's fixing to soon come to court. You know, get you a black pen, felt pen, whatever, and write on there maximum charges for Daniel and Malaya, you know, and stand it up at the end of your driveway. I mean, they need to know that the community up there in Canada is standing 110% behind these children. And if people would start doing that around the world, people would get the max of punishment. And community, this is the time that communities should come together. Okay. And Really, that's the only thing left anybody can do for these children. And why not do it? Stand up for what you believe in. Put them posters out there. Well, guys, I'm going to go ahead and cut it here. I'm going to have to stretch out here in a little bit. Yeah. I love y'all, and I'll see you tomorrow.